Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Hope you're doing well. For all of those out there celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Those of you who are just finished the Hanukkah celebration, happy post-Hanukkah to you. And to all of the other celebrations that may be going on. If you're having a good day, that's what's important. Let's jump into it today. Today is the 25th of December. December 25th, we have a sun sign in Capricorn. We have a moon sign that is going from Aquarius, where it was yesterday, into Pisces. Now that transition won't take place till later this evening. However, we begin that void of course period at a little bit after 9 o'clock this morning. You can see right here, BC void of course, which means that the moon sign has gone through its last aspects of Aquarius. And then it's going to go into Pisces, but before it does, it has the course of today. So when there's a void of course moon, it's kind of like a, I don't know if I want to say timeout period, but it is sort of that in-between phase where we're just still feeling the effects of Aquarius as we get ready to the next one. And it's just sort of like a lazy-daisy period of time in some respects. So if today feels like it's one of those days that's just sort of moving along, nothing really too fast or too slow, just kind of hanging in there for the course of today, that's what's going on. We're just in between signs and the moon sign and the unconscious phase. So we have the conscious mind, which is Capricorn, earth sign, air sign underneath for the next hour. So air is words and actions. Capricorn, earth, physical form, the world, our body. We could see that when we make that void, of course, it's going to be during an opposition between Jupiter, which is an expansion, and the moon sign Aquarius. So everything's expanding outward at opposite extremes, opposite ends of the pole. And then we kind of go into that period where things are just going to remain in that expanded phase. We're going to feel that feeling of expansion, of that open space as we make our way towards Pisces later tonight at 10:07 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. During the course of the day, the Wounded Healer has a chance to have some activity going on with Mars, all about the way we communicate. The Wounded Healer is inside ourselves. The Wounded Healer is the one that is able to come forward, find healing in life through one's own self-expression, and be able to move forward. So we learn not to become a victim or feel like a victim, but understand what's going on is a bit more than that. It has to do with our own process of healing that we are all going through. And then later tonight, as I said, 10:07 p.m., we move into the sign of Pisces on the moon sign, unconscious mind. And then less than half an hour after that, Saturn's going to jump into the mix with Pisces. And Saturn is that disciplinarian. It wants to, it's serious. It wants to bring everything together. And there's a lesson to be learned. Pisces is a water sign. So with a water sign, we have emotions and feelings. And so these emotions and these feelings are going to come up against some sort of discipline that it needs to have, some sort of way in which taking all of that energy and bringing it together in a different kind of focus. So if we find ourselves becoming serious as we get later on into the night, it's all par for the course. As we go ahead and we work with these emotions, we try to put them in some sort of context. The numerology for today is a number 8 on the Gregorian calendar. It's because we have the 12 plus the 25 plus the 2014 adds up to 17. 1 plus 7 equals 8. 8 is a number of infinity. We look at the Jewish calendar to see what we have today. It's the first day after Hanukkah has ended, 3 Tevat. The daily thought for today is truth for a moment. That very first tear that flowed onto your cheek, the one that fell before you became aware, absorbed in thoughts too deep to be spoken, out of the sting of awakening to what this life is truly about, and what you have done with it as you yearned to be not where you are now, not what you are now. That tear was real, an unblemished offering. For a moment, nothing else existed, nothing but your God and your naked soul before Him. For a moment, it was all true, until violently you were jerked back into the world of confusion, once again in the clutches of your ego, remarking, "Aha, a tear." It is as though that moment had never been. So you say to yourself, it was all a lie. Truth doesn't pass. Truth is forever. If anything is a lie, it is your ego, your imaginary world and its darkness and confusion. All of that comes and passes, never to return. From there, truth will never be born. But for a moment, a glimmer of truth flashed from the world of truth into your world, achieved what it was meant to achieve, and returned to its source. All else will disappear. That moment is forever. That's a pretty heavy-duty thought, huh? And our numerology for today, according to the Jewish calendar, 3 Tevet, 5775, so we've arrived at it this way. 10, because we know it's the 10th month, plus 3 plus 5, 775 adds up to 28. 2 plus 8 is 10, and that's 1, so we have a number of a new beginning. So the Jewish calendar, we have a new beginning. We have an 8, which is a number of reciprocal energy, that infinity energy, and these are the two numbers we're working with over the course of today. I like to look at these various systems because they're different ways of looking at time. Certainly when we look at the Bible and we want to understand what calendar system things are coded according to, that would be the Jewish calendar. And the Gregorian calendar, well, that was what was changed later on. Pope Gregory made that change, and the calendar really isn't based on anything, isn't other than our accounting of how we track bills and debts and things like that here in America. So we could see one calendar has a whole lot of meaning connected to something very important, and one calendar doesn't. The one that we mostly follow here in the United States is the one that doesn't really have any meaning whatsoever. That's why when we look at the calendar, they're just dates. They help us to understand how we're moving along through a day-to-day basis, but it doesn't really connect us with anything cosmic or significant. And so that's why it's important to look at these various systems, because we want to find the systems that do. I'm going to get into the calendar, not today, but if not tomorrow, maybe next week, I'll jump into the calendar and we'll start looking at it a bit more closely so you can understand what the Gregorian calendar is and what it isn't. In the meantime, let us continue on. Our moon phase for today, 17% of the way full. It is making its way up to a full moon. Solar wind is currently at 452.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is in the quiet range between a 1 and a 3. Corona holes, we have something down here, something up here on top, but nothing that is directly facing the Earth. M-class flare possibility is dropping from 50 down to 30. X-class from 10 down to 5. Geomagnetic storm activity is dropping as well. You go down to as low as 10% in the next 24 hours in the mid-latitudes, and dropping down to 10, 15, 20% down in the high latitudes. Alright. And here we have a notice of a Christmas comet, a cylindrical package under the Christmas. Alright, Comet Lovejoy right here. Nice, good comet. This picture is taken on the 21st of December. And up in the sky tonight, we've got the moon. If we look after sunset or southwest, after 45 minutes after sunset, we look down to the right, we're going to see Mars. And way, way down here, we may still catch a glimpse of Venus if it's not too far out of the viewing area. And of course, Capricornus is the area where we're in the sky at this moment. And that is our energetics for today. UFO news is up next. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. So today's UFO news first story is a report. Roger Marsh, 9 states report low flying activity in December. UFO traffic during the first 3 weeks of December 2014 includes low flying objects over Florida, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Vermont, Alabama, Michigan, California, Colorado, and New Jersey, according to testimony from the MUFON Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON. The following cases were selected as some of the most interesting testimony during the 3-week period. All remain under investigation. First one was UFO stops traffic over Florida Boulevard. Florida witness at Port Charlotte driving westbound along Midway Boulevard at 6:34 p.m. on November 30th reported getting stopped behind several cars just as a pretty white orb UFO moved overhead. It came to a stop behind a few cars in the middle of the road. People were looking up to the north. I heard a low humming and saw a pretty large white orb inside a small pill-shaped and black metallic UFO. It was changing colors, moving abruptly up and down, east, west, and then it hovered about half a minute and then flew at an incomparable speed. Pennsylvania had a sighting over Lancaster County, a rod-shaped UFO that appeared to be hovering in the sky 2 to 3 miles away at about 1:24 a.m. December 1st. Light was the most intense in the center of the ends. It was a long orange light. Was consistent, almost like fiber optic. It appeared to be 50 yards wide, just a few meters tall, 2 to 3 miles away. And in New Hampshire, a witness stopped after traffic light at Peverly and Middle Roads in Portsmouth. December 1st, a large circle of white lights just to the northeast, according to the MUFON database. It was approximately 10 o'clock position. The witness stated, light cloud covering approximately 1,500 feet above ground. Lights very visible through the clouds, did not rotate. However, there was another light that rotated around the stationary lights counterclockwise that gave the appearance of movement, but the circle of lights did not move. Alright, so let's move from here. Well, let's see one more. Vermont. Witness at Fairfax reported a 2-hour UFO event involving 2 pulsating discs and a black craft. The witness was in his basement about 9 p.m. on the 4th of December when a bright light was noticed, sending the witness up a flight of stairs to the front porch for better observation. Before noticing any detail, I felt an intense sense of dread. I looked up towards the sky at a 45-degree angle, directly away from our house towards Vermont's highest mountain peak. In the distance, perhaps half a mile from where I was standing, I saw an extremely bright object, pulsating red and blue lights, bouncing around slightly. Alright. And as you can see, there's many others right here. This story here is a close-up of spaceships on the moon. As you scroll through this here, there's 5 images. Comes to us from YouTube channel Crow777. We have some good shots that were taken here. Right, there isn't any other description other than this, so check it out, see what you think about those. Yucatan will hold its first ever UFO meeting. UFO enthusiasts and researchers to gather at an Alerta OVNI or UFO alert event, which enables them to spot mysterious objects in the sky together. Many people around the world know about alertas. In Spain, simultaneous gatherings of thousands of people are often with television cameras, which usually last all night long. On Saturday, December 27th, UFO Alert will meet for the first time in the state of Yucatan. The meeting will be held at La Cierta in Colonia, San Benito, the city of Ticol. Participants are expected to be there in the area about 8:30 in the evening till 4 a.m. Created in the United States, the UFO Alert is a rating system based on 5 levels. States with 4 or higher reports per million residents are classified as Alert 1, 3 to 4 reports as Alert 2, 2.5 to 3 Alert 3, 2 to 2.5 Alert 4, and states with 2 or lower are Alert 5. UFO sightings have been part of Yucatan's history. In 2004, there were many reported UFO sightings along the coast of Yucatan, especially in Progreso. Some people in the area even believe that the Maya recorded their sightings. Local press have been headlining alien encounter reports in Yucatan for years. Participants are requested to bring only water and discouraged to bring foods or beverages because it is not a picnic. Alcohol is also prohibited since it is not a party. Over here at Pikes Peak, we have a horseshoe-shaped UFO. Colorado witness at Colorado Springs reported watching a lighted object hovering over nearby mountains in the shape of a horseshoe that quickly disappeared, according to testimony from the MUFON database. The reporting witness and his wife were driving on December 16th when the object was noticed above the north ridge of Pikes Peak. They were driving at the time headed west on Woodman Road and then west on Rockrimmon, the witness stated, then west on Vindicator. We witnessed what we thought was a light that had a horseshoe shape. My wife thought it was an object emitting light, but the shape was consistent for both of us. Wife used the phone to take 2 photos of the distant object. The pictures are obviously not as detailed as what we saw, but they did offer a picture that shows a light with a sense of direction. The photos were both taken at 4:48 p.m. on the 16th of December. What they described, they said, we noticed the object because it was extremely bright at dusk. The brightness is what brought our attention to it. I had no clue what the object might have been when I first laid eyes on it, but my wife thought it was some sort of a rocket. The light/object was just above the north ridge of Pikes Peak. It was a constant yellow, orange, reddish light that was unwavering in brightness. It appeared as a horseshoe shape with the ends of a shoe pointed down and turned at an angle so that you could see the opening of the bottom and the arch at the top. It seemed to move slowly in a southern direction and then hover. Then the object simply disappeared with no trace left. We both felt hearts race and feeling of excitement, but almost doubt as well. My wife looked for an explanation that it could be on the internet and found nothing. We researched more into this, and then we found MUFON. Okay, very interesting indeed. Move from Pikes Peaks to France, Toulouse, France. This new amazing footage of a UFO sighting recorded in the night sky above Toulouse, France on the 23rd of December. Goes on to say, here it is right here. Today I filmed the video at 5:30 a.m. this Monday, 12/23, at about 25 kilometers from Toulouse, above the town of Aurillac-Vendarilla. While I was not sleeping, I saw the bright light in the sky that caught my attention. More violent than car headlights at night, I could not look away. From the strange ball of light, I could see the other stars because conditions were clear, but the light shone much more than the other stars and much closer to me. I could estimate the distance and pulled out my camera to film this and hoped to learn more. I also specific that there was no obstacle, tree, or other thing between me and this ball of light, so I cannot explain these particular shades that you see on the video. The noise you hear at the beginning of the zoom is my camera, as the phenomenon was silent. Not very reassured, as I went to go see a half hour after the said light. Okay, very interesting. Good sighting indeed. Okay, moving on from there. Statue of Liberty. There's a little orb above that. UFO was spotted over the Statue of Liberty yesterday by two women in New York City. They took the video with their cell phone camera, and at first they thought it was a balloon, but on such a windy day the balloon floated at a steady speed and then stopped and stayed in the same place, according to a posting over at Godlike Productions on December 10th. The woman who took the video ran out of space, but she took enough of the strange black circular UFO to show that it wasn't a helicopter, plane, or something else that is normally seen flying over the city. She posted it on YouTube and does explain why she thought it was a balloon, but then changed her mind once it stood still. There's a video above. It says the commenters in Godlike Productions agreed it is UFO because it's unidentified and it is a flying object. Okay. Moving from there, we go to Bogota, Colombia. This was on the 19th of December. This has a tail of some sort here. First off, of course, a planetarium says it's a balloon. Most planetariums around the world get funding from NASA. Also, planetariums fear the repercussions of the scientific community if they say something is a UFO. Sure, I see a line under the craft, but it does not look like a string or ribbon, nor could you see a string or ribbon from such a distance. Also, reports from the eyewitness say it moved erratically. UFOs are intelligently controlled and often move that way. Balloons do not. Balloons move in straight lines with little or no deviation from their path. The line behind this object is a cloud-like contrail. UFOs can and often do make clouds to hide inside, and they make them fast in just under a minute with 100% covering. So this UFO has it turned on just in case it believes it is being watched. Many UFOs have seen these smoky trails behind them. I myself witnessed 20 plus UFOs make 4 cloud tunnels in the sky back in Rapid City, South Dakota. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Right? And the witness said dozens of people looked skyward for several minutes watching an object that flew around erratically in the vicinity of Bogota, Colombia's Zona Rosa. Those who thought that they were seeing an unidentified flying object and those who took an endless number of photos of what they thought might be an unusual phenomena were disappointed after the planetarium reported its findings. Given that the UFO subject became a trending topic on Twitter, the Planetario de Bogota explained through its Facebook account that the alleged UFO was in fact a balloon. A photo of the balloon mistaken for the UFO was taken with the 8-inch telescope at the Bogota Planetarium on Friday afternoon. Okay, so they say it's a balloon, but the UFO researchers say it is not. What do you think? Here we're going to go to a revisit of the Phoenix Lights. We have a video for you to watch. Video itself is 8 minutes and 31 seconds. It's often remarked that no one person's testimony can ever be considered fully reliable, especially when it concerns anomalous phenomena. But as the number of witnesses increases, the probability that all of them are simultaneously delusional quickly diminishes. Nowhere does this apply any more than to the case of the Phoenix Lights of March 1997. Thousands of witnesses saw a gigantic triangular formation in the sky drift over the state of Arizona and overtop the city of Phoenix. The case is widely regarded as involving the greatest number of witnesses to the single UFO event, and it forces us to consider the possibility that UFOs, whatever they are, occasionally want to be seen. The video contains footage. Okay, so here's a nice little documentary, 8 minutes 30 seconds, just a short little footage that was put together. And one last piece here, you may have heard this story. A gentleman by the name of Andrew Basiago. Since 2004, Seattle attorney Andrew Basiago has been publicly claiming that from the time he was 7 to when he was 12, he participated in Project Pegasus, a secret U.S. government program that he says worked on teleportation and time travel under the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, otherwise known as DARPA. Here's a picture. There's an old picture. According to Andrew Basiago, they trained along with adults so they could test the mental and physical effects of time travel on kids. Also, children had an advantage over adults in terms of adapting to the strains of moving between the past, present, and the future. Below is the last lecture that he has given so far, which was given in 2014 International Congress of Ufology in Argentina. 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 9 seconds is this video. And in it you'll see and hear what all of this is all about. Okay? So there you have it. There is our UFO news for today. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit. It's one of my favorite songs that I've ever had the opportunity to sing or write and all of that stuff. I was in Chaco Canyon when I wrote that. Actually, I returned from Chaco Canyon. I had just been there for a week, camping with some friends, and when I got home, I sat down at a desk and it just started flowing through me. Alrighty. So today is a day that we remember Jesus. It's a day that, even though this isn't his actual birthday, It is a day that has been chosen and the world does celebrate the birth of Jesus. Now, I've done a show earlier this week, last weekend on Saturday, which really got into, or the week before, and plenty of other shows really talking about the birth of Jesus. And though Jesus wasn't born during this time, it does seem to be a consensus that this is a time when Jesus was conceived. And that's a very important time, because this was a time when we really needed to have some light brought into the world. And that's exactly what Jesus brought. He brought light into the world. He helped us to understand a bit more about ourselves so that we could evolve into the beings that we are intended to be. Over the course of his time on earth, Jesus gave many dissertations and sermons and passed along a lot of wisdom. So much so that here it is, more than 2,000 years later, and we're still talking about the wisdom of Jesus. Pretty good wisdom, huh? I mean, some people come and go in their short time of life, and we never hear about what they had to say, yet we're still contemplating the words of someone who lived a long time ago, more than 2,000 years ago, and we're still finding the value in these as if it was given to us just today. So, that being said, I chose the Sermon on the Mount to read today. Here we go. Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him and began to teach them. And Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kind of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the smallest stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Therefore anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpass that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. You have heard it said to the people long ago that you shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or a sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to a brother or sister, Racha, is answerable to the court, and anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of the fire of hell. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and you remember that your brother or your sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go, be reconciled to them, and then come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary, who has taken you to court. Do it while you are still together on the way, or your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. Truly I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. You have heard it said that you shall not commit adultery, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose part of your body than for your whole body to go to hell. It has been said anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard it said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows that you have made. I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one white hair or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. You have heard it said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. If anyone wants to sue you over your shirt, hand them over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. You have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of the Father in heaven. He causes the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even the pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. All right, that's some pretty heavy-duty information, wouldn't you say? And when you read this, sometimes it seems as if it might be very difficult to accomplish, that one really has to walk the line without making any mistakes, and that's not what this is saying. You see, if you go back to understanding a couple of things here, one, everything is energy, and that we're always looking how we're going to utilize this energy in the best way possible. And we remember that Jesus told stories in parables. Then we begin to understand that not everything he was saying is exactly face value. You have to look behind the words a bit more. You have to understand what is the parable he was telling. Because if Jesus just came out and spoke very scientifically and in such detailed oriented way, not everybody would get it. There are different levels of education in the world, and that is something that certainly was understood. That is why when he spoke in a way so everybody could gather the gist of the story and understand it from wherever they were. And so as we go through this, if you just consider the ideas that are being brought forward as ways to live life, not just guidelines, but actual ways to live life that is going to allow us to energetically put ourselves closer to the divinity, closer to the divine aspect of life that created us, we begin to see that these are not such a difficult thing to really accomplish. These are ways for all of us to be able to understand and move closer to God, closer to that energy of life that moves us along. And when you read through the Bible, that's really kind of what is there as well. You see, many people look at the Bible in different ways. There are those who say that the stories of the Bible aren't real, and that the Bible's not real, and they dismiss it altogether. And there are those who see the Bible and see it filled with a great depth of information and wisdom. And you have everything in between. And this just goes to show, or the question actually comes to mind is, how could somebody see it as a book filled with valuable wisdom and somebody wouldn't? Well, goes to show the depth of information and wisdom within that book. That's the idea of initiation. When one becomes initiated into the ideas, into the meanings of these sayings, one understands more and more. You ever read something and you come back and you read it again a few months down the road and it means something different? And then a few months later you come and you read it again and it's something a little bit different? It's because each time you've had an opportunity to grasp something about that information a little bit more than the previous time. And what you saw was because you were at that level of understanding to see what that wisdom was about at that point in time. And then as you grow a little bit more, you have an opportunity to see a little bit more. And that's one of the beauties of the wisdom of the Bible. Because we need an opportunity to take these words into ourselves and process them. And as we process them, then we have an opportunity to put them into practice. For if we don't ever put into practice the words that we hear, then what really good are the words doing? They're not really making any effect at all. If all we're doing is hearing them and they fall on deaf ears, it doesn't mean anything to us. But if we take a little bit of wisdom from it, if we understand by processing it what it means, then the next time we have an opportunity to process a little bit more. And that's the process in life that happens. We learn a little bit here, a little bit there, and as we're ready, then we understand more and more and more. So when you look at the words of Jesus, just recall that Jesus told stories that made it simple for everybody to understand, no matter who you are or what your station in life was. You've often heard the words that Jesus said, you must be like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, and this is very significant. A child is not thinking in complicated terms. A child is very simple. A child has a simple understanding about how the world works. And every single one of us listening to this today, every single one of us living on this planet at one point in time was a child. And though we've grown up in our bodies, the child is still inside, and oftentimes we need to reconnect with that child, that inner child, to find out who and what we used to be and compare that to who we are right now. And though we have more responsibilities, that inner child still needs to be nurtured, still needs to be paid attention to and loved and cared for. And once we do that, we start to find the simplicity of life that is available for all of us. And in that simplicity, we now have access to the kingdom of heaven because we've allowed our ego to drop. We've allowed whatever guards have been in our way to move aside, and we'll be able to see things much clearer. So as you go through the course of the day, look around at the children. Look around at how they're behaving and playing and just having fun. And take a cue from them. And then look at your own inner child. Step in front of the mirror. Take a look and see if you can still see where that child is inside of you, and allow that child to come forth. And I think if you do, I think you'll find yourself getting in touch with a part of who you are that has been there for a long time, and in some cases, maybe just needs to have a hug. Maybe needs just to be understood and appreciated. And when we do that, I think we all really find something wonderful and magical that we can be learning from this entire experience. So there you have it. That is Jesus, the Sermon on the Mount. And let us continue on. Okay, during this time of year, people have all sorts of ailments that come up as weather is changing from hot to cold and back and forth again. And we travel in different ways, in different groups, and we meet in places like airports along the way. And when people are feeling certain ways, this energy gets passed on to others. And sometimes we just look at these things as sicknesses and we don't think anything more past that. However, one of the things that's very important is the way our mind works. and in the way our mind works, how we have the ability to look at the patterns that we have in our life and make the adjustments in the patterns to correct some of the ways in which we're moving about through life, correct the ways in which we're using these energies that we have available to us. This article here is an article from In5D, and it addresses this issue of these different feelings that the body goes through, but from the standpoint that these are all symptoms of the energetic shifts that are taking place all around us. And so if we have an opportunity to step back from whatever it is we're feeling, and rather than just say, this is something that is happening to me for no reason whatsoever, and we start to look for the meaning in this, perhaps we see that there's something a bit deeper, that we're learning how to transmute energy. And in some cases, our body is just doing it without us actually knowing what's going on. And the more that we can tune into that, the more that we can understand and help the process move along. So this article here shows a number of different symptoms that do come up and occur. It says, as we are heading into, this is from Marie Southern, as we are heading into the age of Aquarius, new energies are encompassing our bodies and are reflected in various physiological symptoms. Within the transition of the ages, many people will begin to feel many of these energy shifts on a regular basis as our bodies adjust and upgrade to the higher frequencies. One of these things are headaches. When the crown-like symptom opens, when the crown chakra opens or expands, it can be intense and painful experience. It might feel like a spike or a rod being inserted. Headaches are common and can range from migraines to cluster headaches. Okay, but as you increase your vibration, things start to lessen up. Another one, flu-like symptoms. A lot of people are dealing with these in this day. This is quite common part of the process. Just write it out. Don't take any antibiotics, which will only prolong the process. The symptoms are caused by the physical body's reaction to the toxins that are released when the chakras begin to expand. Whatever was constricting or congesting the chakras is flushed throughout the body. Nausea, bowel movements, diarrhea, common reaction to the solar plexus chakra opens and relaxes the stored fear and resentment held in this area. Karmic and family issues also have different results. Muscle aches, joint pain, increasing your vibration forces the energy through the body. When there are blockages impeding the energy flow, this raised and forced energy slams into them, causing the symptoms and ails. Depression, very common symptom caused by an increased rate of vibration. The higher frequency forces illnesses, viruses, and infections hiding in the body to the surface. Crying for no reason, feeling emotionally vulnerable. When blockages from this lifetime and other lifetimes begin to release, the emotional body will react in this manner. Fluttering, pain in the heart, or breathing problems. This is a symptom experienced when the heart chakra begins to open or enlarge or to receive more energy. Pain sensations in the heart, not being able to breathe, can be very frightening because you may think you are having a heart attack. Hot flashes and night and day sweats, commonly experienced by both men and women. This is due to energy flowing too quickly through the body. Hormonal changes, which men have too, and the body learning to adjust to the higher vibratory rate. Extreme tiredness, waking in the morning and struggling to get out of bed after a full night of sleep, or falling asleep in the middle of the afternoon is common. This is caused when the energy is shifting through the whole spiritual body. Excessive energy. You go to bed early exhausted, but in a couple of hours you are wide awake. This is caused by the photon belt energy accumulating around you because your body's inability to store the energy because it's blocked and congested. Weight gain. Common complaint, the body feels like it is being invaded, so it adds a layer of protection. If you are a light worker, then additional water is needed to create energy. If you don't have enough water in your body will store water, which ultimately leads to stagnation. Losing your memory or feeling spacey. This can be a frightening experience because you cannot remember what you had for dinner, or dinner was only about an hour ago. You're losing your memory. You are changing over to the left brain function to more of a right brain. Extreme sensitivity. As you open up to the higher vibration, you will find yourself becoming extremely sensitive to people, noises, lights, smells, tastes, and all sorts of things. Glowing light bulbs and electronics. If this is happening to you when you are really reaching a very high vibratory rate, and you'll probably be a profound healer or a channel for spirit. This is due to extremely high energy coming into the physical form. Animal reactions. You'll find that dogs and cats and other animals become aware of your energy. Food changes. As your vibration rate changes, you will find that you no longer want the things you used to. Coffee, tea, and meat are 3 dietary changes that people will begin to make as they begin to vibrate faster. Okay. And the end of the article says these changes are not necessarily being experienced by everyone concurrently. For instance, a small percentage of adults have already embodied a further 2 strands of DNA and are now beginning to move into the 4th dimensional awareness. This physical change in our state of being is completely dependent upon our current level of consciousness. Therefore, as we lift our perceptions to embrace ever-increasing levels of truth and higher thought, so we embody further strands of DNA. The entire process is managed by the I Am presence or the higher self, so we're extremely capable, incapable, and loving hands, and this must therefore learn to surrender to it. So, very important, because if we just look at ourselves and think that these things that are happening are just part of a process that makes us a victim, we're missing the point. Everything that takes place happens for a reason. Everything is about energy, and we're always learning how to work with the energy. Whether we're looking at esoteric science and trying to understand it, whether we're working with spiritual practices like meditation or healing practices, we're learning how to channel the energy differently. No matter what it is, it's all about energy. And as we're moving through these times that we're going through right now, we are shifting. Just think of how I like to keep going back to the Fantastic Four, how all of their DNA was affected as this energy swept over them. And we see many more examples. Society seems to have some understanding that something is taking place, because we see many more examples in television shows these days where there's some sort of change that has occurred, and people are taking on these superhuman or other human type qualities that weren't necessarily there. And all we're doing is we're awakening to who and what we're about. But we've all gone through processes of lifetimes, and we've all had many different types of energy piled on top of our own energetic fields, different thought patterns that get in and affect how we're using our energy. And so as we start to release and let go of these things, our bodies feel different ways. So just because you're feeling a certain way doesn't mean that there's something bad going on. If you feel that your body is releasing some energy, it could just be that, a release of energy. And once you release that energy, now there's an opportunity for us to be able to experience life a little different. And that's what's really going on. All of these moments are opportunities. Opportunities to grow, opportunities to be more in touch with who we are, and opportunities to really see how we're evolving in the way that we were designed to evolve. And it's really that simple. We just make things a lot more complicated along the way. But if we could all change our thoughts, if we could all really look at that process, just imagine how all of this healing might take place and really change in our lives. It could be really awesome. Remember when Jesus healed, what were the words that Jesus always said after he healed? Your faith has healed you. So it all goes back to how we are using our mental energies. If we believe, then that's what's really the process at hand. All right? Here's our channeled message for today. It comes to us from the Council.
The Council, celebrate yourselves.
December 13th, 2014. Byron Head, Oracles and Healers.
The Council.
We return today to one of our favorite topics, energy. We hope to give you a slightly different view of what is happening during this vital time. For some of you this will ring truer than true. May the good Dr. Seuss pardon us. For others it will still remain, for the time being, as something of a desirable possibility. And of course, there are those still who are in denial or are completely unaware as yet of the subject at all. We are aware that some of you are able to see the energies that we speak of. Others of you have become very able to feel physically the waves of this as it pours into your bodies and environment. And there are myriad permutations of these abilities. Some are also sensitive to the changes that they observe in their bodies and their surroundings. Some others are once again feeling themselves on some undefined precipice. Something big is happening, but you don't know what it is. You have, in the recent past, experienced other such moments, each one energetic in nature, each one easily able to go unobserved by those around you. Yet, to you, as you look back over these last years, each marking stepping stones of change and growth, you will think that you cannot put your finger on it, as you say. But you know that somehow you are not at all the person you were just short years ago. Each of these markers has been of increasing intensity and effect. And if you had experienced the last one at the first, you would have had trouble assimilating it into your lives, even if you were at all able to do that. This has all been planned out very well. And you know by now that we will tell you that you were a part of the planning committee. Now, at the end of this year, you are fast approaching another of those markers. You have noted another unique alignment in your heavens and are calling it a portal, a doorway. Understand that what you observe on the outside is a reflection of what is on the inside. We say this over and over. Your heavens reflect you as much as you reflect them. All is inseparable. All is one. What is happening is that you have all, recognized or not, reached a milestone in your evolution of consciousness, this one more intense than those before, just as they were. And now, the effects of your changes are becoming less and less deniable. Certainly they will become obvious to you even if not to all. There are many groups coming together for meditations at this time, and that is a good thing, of course. We would like to move into a slightly more light-hearted energy now, and as we have done before, offer you an enjoyable image to hold as you think about what you are doing. You have what you call thrill rides. On some of those rides your carriage gets pulled for a short distance as it reaches the summit, in preparation for the plunge that brings your stomachs up into your throats. There is that slow click, 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 and you know what is coming. The slightest of pauses, and then... well, get ready because that is where you are now, even though you may only see it in hindsight. This has been from your perspective a long slow process. We offer our deepest and most sincere congratulations on your perseverance and dedication. Celebrate yourselves. Good day.
Alright, nice message. Again, about energy. It's all about energy. Alright, let's jump to our meditation for today. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And just keep breathing slowly in and out. And as you do, just feel the energy that flows through each breath. This breath which keeps moving non-stop throughout your body through the course of this life. And take time to appreciate the breath and give thanks to the universe, to the great Creator, for this breath of life that flows through you each and every day. And as you breathe, just think about all of the people on the planet Earth right now, breathing in and out. Think about all the ways in which breath is used, and all the things that can be signified from the breath. People breathe slow when they are in one state of mind, and fast when they are in another, and always in between. And as we learn to control and work with our breath, Feel the peacefulness that comes over our body. And know that this is a very simple way in which to regulate our energy flow, just by paying attention to our breath. And as we breathe, continue to think about how the universe breathes in and out. The planets breathe. The sun breathes. The moon breathes. The stars breathe. And as all this breathing goes on, all of the energy around is affected. And we realize there isn't anything that isn't affected by the breath, for everything breathes. Imagine looking at the world around you and seeing everything breathing around you. And know that we are part of this breath of life. And with this breath of life, let's just imagine that we are extending love into this breath. And this love goes out and touches all things where this breath reaches, which is everywhere. So just imagine breathing love into the world and seeing this love go from being to being, from planet to planet, from sun to sun and star to star. And feel the connection of oneness through this process of breathing. And this connection of love. So let's imagine the planet Earth smiling as we share love. And imagine the cosmos and the space brothers and sisters and the planets and the stars all smiling back as well. And as we go forth through this day, let's just imagine ourselves connected to all things through our breath. And let us just contemplate that connection that we all have. So let the subconscious mind just continue on that journey of breathing. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment, filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment, filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. I have listed here a website, Louise Hay, number of affirmations. I rejoice in the love I encounter every day. My heart is open, I speak with loving words. Every person, place, and thing on the planet is interconnected with love. I am at home in the universe. And as you contemplate these words, these affirmations, just allow yourself to understand the simplicity of all of these. This is a really awesome set of affirmations. So check out the link. I think you'll find them very helpful and useful in your lives. That's it for today, my friends. That's our show. Have a wonderful day. An absolute wonderful day. Give thanks to the great Creator for all of the blessings you have in your life. Give thanks to the Son, to Jesus Christ, who was conceived into the world during this time, that we might all have an opportunity to be able to experience much more of life through that divine presence. Enjoy what you're doing. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Until then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.